Welcome everyone. For our class today, we are going to use blocks. So you can grab blocks or a block substitute. You might want a strap as well, just to make it easier to hold the legs straight while on our back at the end of class. And you also might want a wall space. We're going to have some time moving towards and playing with inversions. And so the wall might be helpful. It's really, this class is all about opening up through strength and through playfulness. We're going to work to stabilize our lower body and then create freedom in our shoulders and in our chest so that we can explore forearm balance, Pincha Mayurasana, or dolphin pose, and maybe even move towards things as complicated as scorpion. And a lot of what we'll do today is use asymmetrical poses in our lower body. So the leg, right leg doing one thing, left leg doing another thing. And we'll learn how in the asymmetry to stabilize the pelvis itself. And we're going to do this so that as you move into the bigger back bends, which hopefully will be fun, you'll have the knowledge of the muscle memory of that asymmetry so that you can keep lengthening out of your low back and create balance in your upper body. Yeah, so with that being said, we're actually just going to jump right in today. So you can make your way to tabletop position and take some time just to balance yourself left to right. Well, in your table, let yourself be as steady and as grounded as necessary. You get a stronger sense of your left and right shoulders, your left and right hips, using this as a centering moment. And observing how your body wants to adjust left to right in order to find evenness and neutrality. Can you sense how the shoulders inform the spine? And the hips inform the spine. And then the spaces in between as well. Go for some easy exploratory movement here. Anything that feels good for you. Using the movement to take you out of balance in order to better understand the kind of balance that brings you more ease in your body today. Because not everyone will do everything in this class, but everyone can do something. And so much of self-awareness in the yoga practice and engagement in the yoga practice is observing through repetition what the worthy choices are, your worthy goals. You're going to have this movement gradually bring you to downward facing dog pose. And there's no rush here for that. Just let it be an organic timing of things. And if this is your first down dog of the day, you might feel residue from yesterday, things that you were doing. Maybe some very familiar tensions, maybe something new. Just kind of notice, is this kind of chronic thing that you're working with in your body? Is this something that's just popping up in the moment? After several moments in down dog, try high plank pose. Similarly, breathe. You can always modify high plank with your knees down. And after another breath or two in your plank or modified plank, do a little flow. Any kind of flow that allows you to feel out movement in the body I'm trying to notice asymmetries. And most of us have them. Right? Something different in your right side than your left. Something different in your front body than your back. I'm going to take about 20, 30 more seconds, just flowing in any way that allows you just to discover how you happen to be in these moments. Gathering information as you move. And then after you've had some time to play, I'm going to go ahead and come to tabletop position and bring your legs, your knees closer towards one another so that your feet open wider apart. So your feet are going to be wider than your hips. You're going to take a block or 2 blocks and put it back between your feet as you sit back down on the block. Now, right away, we're going to make this the half variation. So keep your left leg as it is and bring your right foot flat to the floor. And for most of us, that will depressurize the pose quite a bit. Now, if your left knee feels at all compromised, tight, uncomfortable, add more height to the posture. And if you can't feel comfort, then just do standing thigh stretch with the hand at the wall, bending the left leg at the knee. Perfectly fine. The legs are still doing asymmetrical things. And what I want you to try to do is to spread the toes and engage the muscles of the legs as best you can all the way up to your thighs. And then try to push the root, so the topmost part of your thigh, try to push that in both legs towards your hamstrings, right? And you can just, if you need help, physically push the upper thigh down, but you are definitely capable of engaging, the body is capable of engaging the upper thigh, the root of the thigh, and just toning it towards the hamstrings. Now you're going to keep doing that as you walk your hands slightly back. Yeah. So this pose is not about how far you go. It's definitely not about getting to, lying completely on the floor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What we're trying to do is stretch the left thigh. And once the thigh starts to open, once it loosens, then you can start to go into the deeper hip flexor, okay? So that's what we're really trying to do. And maybe you're walking pretty far back. If you feel tension grow in your low spine, just push into both legs, lift your hips a little bit, lengthen your tailbone towards the left knee, bring the pelvis back down to the block. You probably feel a readjustment up through the thigh. You're going to be here for a few more moments breathing as you're working into the deeper stretch of the thigh, as you're getting closer and closer to the hip flexor. I want you to make sure that you can play with adjusting the left and the right hip to be more balanced, okay? Yeah. So a lot of what we'll try to do today is to balance the hips in asymmetrical movements, looking at the side body, or what's called the coronal plane. You can change sides anytime you want, coming up and out of the pose. Left foot flat on the floor, right leg bent back. Engage the roots of the thighs, the tops of the thighs, push them towards their hamstrings. So the hamstrings are the back of your upper legs. And then you can walk your hands back. Just try and work deeper and deeper and deeper into the stretch of the right thigh. Adjusting as you go to keep the pelvis level and the coronal plane balanced, left to right. There was a time not too long ago when I was really working on my home practice, and I completely avoided this type of stretch. Like, I would never do thigh stretching because it kind of makes me feel like, bleh, You know what I mean? It has that like intense, like sensation to it. And I'd go to friends' classes and they would do a thigh stretch, and I'd be like, why are you doing this horrible stretch? And in those moments, I came to realize how vitally important it was for my body to really lean into more thigh stretching. So you can come back out. And then, friends, what we'll try to do, you can do both sides one more time, or if it feels safe for your hips, your knees, your low back, go ahead and try both legs in Virasana and then walk back. So you're either going to do one leg at a time again, or you're going to try both legs at the same time. And as you're walking back, I want you to try to develop the feeling of the outer hips. The outer hips is coming up and navelward, lifting up and towards your belly button, and the inner thighs as rolling down and kneeward. And it's those two actions coming together that keeps the back of the pelvis broad and happy. So get to know your edge with a few more moments. If you're doing one leg at a time, again, change sides. And as you come closer and closer to your edge, just play there. Right? And just visit that space as best you can. Outer hips coming up and navelward, inner thighs lengthening down and kneeward. Cool. And then you can come back out of the pose. Very good. Let's do tabletop again. Move the block off to the side. Thank you so much, block. Tabletop position. When you get to tabletop, take another moment to level eyes, left, right. Cool. Move around a little bit. Go ahead and send from neutral table, send your right leg back to the toes. Press the right foot into the floor. Good. Now pushing back through the right foot, try to bring stability from the foot all the way up into the back of the pelvis. Now, if you want a little bit of a challenge, you can lift your left knee away from the floor. Just 3 more breaths. Try to keep both hips even. And then let's alternate. Keeping the right knee down, send the left leg back, press back through the left heel, and bring the stability from the foot all the way up into the back of the pelvis. And that's enough. You just breathe there. Or if you want, lift your right knee off the floor. And press. High plank pose. Try to get your shoulder blades to move way down your back. Collarbones and the heart go forward. And then downward facing dog. And you just pause and check in down dog. How are you doing today? Try to move your thighs back, pressing the root of the thigh again into the hamstrings. Remember to use that technique, that tool, to get the pose to feel longer. 2 more breaths. And forward into high plank pose. Again, turn the tops of the thighs into their hamstrings, and then press back into down dog. And using the upper thighs pressing, it's going to guide you. Do that again. Inhale, high plank, shoulder blades down, collarbones and heart forward. As you exhale, press the thighs back to go to down dog. It's just a couple more times, forward and back to loosen up the shoulders and try to get a little longer in your body. Let's say 3 more times. Shoulder blades down, collarbones forward, eyes pressing back. Shoulder roots last time. And then walk your feet forward from down dog to the front of your mat, Uttanasana, hands on blocks or hands on the floor, and move with your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. A couple times. The back of the legs feel especially tight today, a little bend in the knees. One more breath, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold all the air out. Upright to stand, Tadasana. Take the breath all the way down into the feet. And as you exhale, just soften something. So observe how nice that is for your body. To feel both grounded, also available, relaxed, spacious. These are the awareness that we'll try to continue to cultivate. Take your arms out, breathe in. Hold to the floor, breathe out. Surya Namaskar. Lengthen the spine, breathe in. Step back to down dog as you breathe out. Just try to find length in your body. We're going to do a little Surya flow. Inhaling into high plank pose. Shoulder blades down, collarbones forward. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground or chaturanga. Inhale into a cobra that feels nice for your body. And then go ahead and lower back down, downward facing dog pose. Firm the roots of your thighs, push them up and back. Let the heels lengthen towards the floor. They don't have to touch. 2 more breaths. Going for length in your torso. After this next exhale, look forward as you breathe in. Step or jump front of the mat, breathe out. Inhale to get long. Exhale to float down. Inhale, come up, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart, navel to spine. Pull the ribs into the body. So you feel like an engagement in your core. Breathe in, take your arms up. Feet are nice and stable. Breathe out, fold to the floor. Sweet A again. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Step or float a dog. Long maintenance downward facing dog pose. Keep the thighs pressing back. Inhale, high plank. Exhale to the floor. However you want to get there. Back bend. Down dog. Thighs pressing back. Move your shoulder blades away from the ears, but still feel length in your spine. Try to blend those actions with the shoulder blades moving down and lift your ribs up. Almost like the ribs and the shoulder blades are pressing into one another. Look forward as you inhale. Step or jump front of the mat. Exhale. Lengthen as you inhale. Fold as you exhale. Breathe in, come all the way up, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart, navel and ribs pull in. Good, one more flow. Inhale, breathe into the feet, stretch your arms up. Exhale, pull down to the floor. Inhale, lengthen your spine, look forward. Exhale, step, jump, or float it down dog. In down dog, high plank, breathe in. Firm the thighs, shoulder blades down. Exhale all the way to the ground. Cobra rolls. Inhale into a cobra. Exhale, lower down. I'm doing a couple of these. And once more, Try to make space in your body as you're moving up and down. Drag the shoulder blades down your back. Let the legs be heavy. One more time, up and down. And then make your way to downward facing dog pose. See, almost like you're going through a little checklist. Thighs back, especially the upper thighs. Shoulder blades down. Lift the ribs into the body. Find stability and length. Take your right leg for a split on the breath in, and then you can just explore on the breath out. Keep the leg lifted, breathe in, and breathe out again. Good. On your next exhale, place your right foot by your right thumb, low lunge. Just pause in low lunge. Make sure the right knee is on top of the heel, back leg in a nice straight line, and readjust the roots of the thighs towards their hamstrings. So pushing your right thigh down, pushing your left thigh up. Right? So that's that asymmetrical alignment happening, right? So the same action, but the legs are different shapes, right? I want you to keep that action and take your left knee down to the floor without losing the sense of pressing the thigh back. And that's the trickiest part for me. So keep the roots of the thighs pressing towards the hamstrings in both legs. And you're gonna let your pelvis go forward. So it's another chance to get an opening to the left thigh. This is Anjaneyya stage 1. If you feel very safe, bring your hands to the front thigh. So we're just learning. Lean as far forward as you need to so that the low back feels nice and safe. Stage 2, take the arms forward and then up while you extend the tailbone down, just seeing how much stretch you can get in the left thigh without compressing your low back. So we want to keep the lumbar spine nice and open. When you stay here, tuck the back toes under, and try and turn the left hip in a little bit more as you pull the right thigh back. So if you want to go for the full Monty, stage 3, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee an inch or two, and then recommit the tailbone down while you work to straighten the back leg. Keep the left hip coming forward, the right hip pulling back. Good. Just 10 more minutes. 2 breaths. Make your way out, flow or step the dog. In your down dog, notice the asymmetry. Yeah, so the effects of that first side. For me, it's quite drastic. Right? It truly feels like I have very different side bodies at this point. Left leg for splits. 2 breaths just to explore it. And then you'll bring the left foot forward. Low lunge, stage 1. And recommit the roots of the thighs towards their hamstrings. Just try to figure out how to make sense of that. Maintaining that, especially in the back leg, go ahead and bring your right knee towards the floor. You know, I neglected to say this on the first side, I'm sorry about that, but you can always pad the back knee in any way so that you feel safe. Blanket, folded mat, etc., etc. Here, air. Okay. So stage 1 is as you are. If you want to come more upright in your Anjaneyya, that's totally fine. Leaning forward, getting another chance to open right thigh. If you want to go for stage 2, take your arms forward and up, tailbone down. Just play with deepening the stretch. pressing your lumbar spine. Now remember, we're working the coronal plane, so keep the left thigh pulling back as the right hip is coming forward. Tuck your back toes under. And if you want to try stage 3, lift your back knee an inch or two. And then just commit again and again and again, tailbone down while you start to straighten the back leg. And maybe it straightens a lot, maybe a little. 2 more breaths. Good. Flow on out, downward facing dog pose. Keep your legs nice and strong in your down dog and just gently look forward toward your hands. I want you to bend the elbows down towards your mat, like an inch or 2. And then just pause and recommit to pushing your hands down. Lift your ribs up so your abs are inspiring. Good. Now either one at a time or at the same time, bring your forearms to the floor and you've got dolphin happening. And always take a break in child's pose. Push down into your forearms, push back through the roots of your thighs. Lift the ribs, walk your feet in and breathe. Try to feel the shoulder blades and the ribs pressing together. 3 more breaths. Knees down. Forearm table. Let your hips rest back, toes down. It's almost like a little modification of child's pose and what's called Vajrasana pole. So the legs are so close together, toes are tucked under. So you're going to keep your forearms like this, parallel, or if it feels safer for you to have the hands interlaced, interlace your hands. We're going to try dolphin again. Stage 1 is just as we were for 5 breaths, holding the shape. Stage 2, you're going to try little dolphin push-ups, regardless of which one you're doing, especially as it feels daunting. Keep your ribs lifting and your shoulder blades pushing into them so that your core engagement is very clear. Come back in, dolphin. Ribs lift, shoulder blades press into them. Just be in your dolphin breathing. Make sure your neck feels comfortable. If you want to go for the little push-ups, on your inhale, bring your heart forward, your lips towards the space between your thumbs. Exhale, lift your core, go back up into dolphin. 4 more. Breathe in, come forward. Use your core, use your thighs. Press your thighs back to your abdomen. Dolphin. Right? So we're asking for the whole of our alignment cues today to be present in this series. Shoulder blades down as well. Once you've done your 5, child's pose. Classical child's. Big toes together and knees open wide, resting back. Bring the breath anywhere that you feel tight, including your whole body. Can you get a sense of your cells participating in your breath? Imagining as you inhale, the epidermis expanding. As you exhale, that skin space is softening. Your muscle tissues breathing, expanding, and softening. Even your bones, your organs. Right. You're feeling your biorhythm. Downward facing dog pose. Trying to stay centered. From down dog, front of the mat, forward fold. Try to stay that centered. Bring your feet to where you'd like them to be for chair pose. So either together or 2 fist distance between the feet as your inner hips width, which is a nice therapeutic cue. Chair pose. We're gonna get a little flow back into the body. We're gonna try just one round of Surya Namaskar B together. Yeah, hands wherever works for you to feel good. See if in chair pose what it's like to recommit to the alignments of pressing the roots of your thighs downward, moving your shoulder blades downward, pulling the ribs back. Yeah, we're just gonna try classical Surya Namaskar B, trying to work the alignments wherever appropriate. Okay, so on your breath, inhale, come out of the pose, stretch to the sky. Exhale, pull down to the floor. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Step, jump, or floated dog, depending on your interest. From your down dog, right leg high, breathe in. Exhale, place the right foot by the thumb. Out. Inhale, up, warrior one. Exhale, dog or flow. Your chaturanga. When you get to down dog, inhale, left leg high. Exhale, place the left foot forward. Breathe in, rise up. Warrior one, breathe out. To dog or flow. Now come to down dog. Recenter yourself, left, right. Firm the roots of the thighs back, shoulder blades down, lift your ribs up. Now with a stronger sense of that, try both sides one more time without rushing. Start with the right leg, from split, warrior one, and try to keep working those alignments, right? And figure out the pace required for you to stabilize those alignments a little better the second time through. Right? Because sometimes we'll move at a pace to accommodate others and diminish the sense of service to our own self. So this is an opportunity to re-empower and recollect our experience. Right, downward facing dog. Right, I'm intentionally mixing flow and holding as a way for us to wake up our mind and movement, right? Creating a practice that feels enlivening. Right leg for split. Bring your right foot forward by the right thumb. Pause for a moment, just turn your left foot for warrior one, but stay low. Before you come upright, adjust the thighs like we did at the very beginning of class, pushing the roots, your hamstrings, and squaring the hips. Then extend the arms forward and come up. Good. Ready, on your next inhale, straighten your front leg. Readjust, try to square off your hips. Shoulder blades down, ribs back. And now on your next exhale, bend the front leg into warrior. Inhale, come back up. Think of the alignments. Exhale, bend. 3 more, just like this. Breathe in, come up, readjust. Breathe out, lower down. Get to know which alignment feels more natural for you to work. And which alignments you'd like to pay our attention to. Stay in the warrior one, get a nice full stretch. And then step or flow to dog. Left leg, second side. Bring the foot forward and then pause. Before you come upright, adjust the thighs, they're part of your asana. And then extend the arms, rising up. Inhale, straighten the front leg, readjust. Exhale, bend into the front leg again. Thinking of the alignments, try 5. This is your own timing. Faster than me, be slower than me. Stay deep in it. Enjoy the pose, and then go ahead and step our flow to dog. We're going to make sure Your blocks are at the front of your mat for this next little series. You might be really happy that they're there. Right leg for splits. Bring it forward. Warrior one again. Realign again. Now I want you to try to keep the alignments and start to lean forward. Warrior three. Now if warrior three feels a bit precarious, then your hands can go down to those blocks. You can stabilize. Maybe your arms are at your sides, or prayer hands, or overhead. Doesn't matter which. Shoulders into the body, shoulder blades down, roots of the thighs pressing to their hamstrings, and start to tilt towards standing split. Try to lift your inner left thigh faster than your outer left thigh. Lift your inner left thigh faster. Yeah, for me, that is very challenging to do. Challenging not only because it forces me to really focus on keeping my hips balanced, but also because my standing leg gets such a deeper stretch that I'm like, ugh. Uttanasana, forward fold. But it's a really valuable stretch, just like the thigh stretching. Not something to avoid. We're realigning our bodies. So in your forward fold, any kind of movement that's nice for you. Try to soften your neck, your head. Step or floated dog when you're ready. Second side, left leg. Bring it forward. Warrior one. Realign. When you are prepared, keep the alignments. Warrior three. Honor the choices that you're making as working for you in this moment, okay? Standing split. Instead of using those choices against you, just embrace them. Looking to create a practice that we can do for always, right? And one that we will want to come back to. And I really notice that when I make things too hard for myself, sometimes it can have the adverse effect, where I won't want to go back and do it again. It's good to find that balance as a yogi. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Head hanging. Just ragdolling your body here. Step or flow, downward facing dog pose. Press your inner thighs really far back. Tabletop position. Bring your forearms down, grab one of your blocks. Just put it long ways between your hands. You can have your hands holding the block, or you can have your hands on the ground with your index finger and your thumb framing the bottom corner of the block on each side. So we're going to work on stabilizing our arms and then establishing length up through the spine from the actions of the arms, the upper back and the ribs. So push your arms down into the floor and squeeze in. Drag your shoulder blades down your back of the neck nice and long. Now press your ribs up into your shoulder blades and just feel the strength, breathe into it. Try to marry these actions together. Yeah, a little thruple marriage. Forearms pushing down. Shoulder blades moving down. Ribs pulling up. Stay here breathing. This is stage one. Just learn about yourself here. Stage two, toes tuck under, dolphin. Walking your legs in. If bridge is secure. Split stage 3. Each stage is extremely valuable. It builds the foundation for the one to follow. Change legs if you're dolphin state. Right? So please, please, please stay in stage 1 as long as your body requires. So you get the lessons. Right? Stage 1 is not easy. Right? It's necessary. So everyone come back to stage 1. Your toes tuck under, rest back, bring your forehead towards the floor. Let your body soften, feel your body breathing. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you may want to have a wall space available. And if you do, you can go ahead and try to bring stage 3, the split, into forearm balance facing the wall. And the wall is just nice because it'll catch you, it'll catch your feet. And it gives you a little safety net to practice hopping up. So you'll take the block with you, put the block just an inch or 2 away from the wall, reestablish, forearms pushing down, shoulder blades dragging down, ribs lifting up, tabletop, forearm, stage 1, dolphin, stage 2, split, stage 3, keep your lifted leg very straight, in stage 4 as you just press off the floor with your bottom leg, bringing your legs up to the wall. Now, if you're at the wall, bring the soles of your feet to the wall, move your inner thighs back, and then lengthen your tailbone towards your knees. So you're getting out of your low back. Then take one leg to the sky, second leg to the sky. So that moment of having the legs bent, feet flat on the wall, allows for the back of your pelvis and the deep muscles of the low back to soften and to open again. Yeah, so you can try that. Take a break. Try again. If you are reaching your maximum for forearm balance play, then do this one instead. I love this one. Lay on your back, put a block underneath your hips, legs up to the sky, or if you're close to a wall, you can do this with your legs flush against the wall. And this inversion is fantastic. It's really a juicy, beautiful inversion for your body. And try at the wall again. Or without your block. If you're prone to your hands coming in, your elbows splaying, keep using the block. Let your feet flat on the floor. Let your butt go back a tiny bit. Thighs pressing back, and then send the tailbone up. Bring the legs to the sky. And then try the push-up action, right? Pushing down into your forearms to tone your upper back, ribs in. Take a break. The point of this work is to do the activities, regardless of whether you get to the magazine cover shape or not. Embracing the being in process. I'll show you one more. You're in the supported back bed or rather the supported inversion. I'm going to try it away from the wall.
And that can build for its that means easily come along. Practicing with push-up actions. Lifting through your low back. Chance close and we're finished. Down dog. Legs very wide. Take any sting out of your spine. If you're in the feet a little closer together, take your right arm or right leg to the sky and then bring it to the outside of your right hand. Your back knee can be lifted or lowered. Walk your hands forward like down dog. Press your hands forward and down to rebalance and stabilize the back of your pelvis once again. Remember, your back leg is lifted or lowered. It's up to you. Forearms can go down. Flex your right foot, turn the toes out. We're all going to bring our left knee to the floor. Right onto our hands. Take your left hand off your mat, bring your right hand to the right thigh, so to twist towards the right. Bring the left foot to the butt, windmill the right arm back, hold the foot, the thigh stretch. Give a lot of space to come down onto the left arm. One of the more important aspects for us to do in the yoga practice is to invite small amounts of stress that we can manage. Just like that scorpion series, or maybe right now. Because we let stress come into our lives, into our minds, and observe that we can manage it. And we learn that we're really strong. And now it starts to generalize out into our lives. That's what we're hearing. Slow out. And to the second side. Split. Bring it wide. Slower. Like down dogs. Push your hands forward and rework into your hips. Keep flexing through the left foot, turning it out as much as you need. Keep the back knees lifted or lowered. Maybe come down onto your forearms. So it's up to you if you want to keep your forearms down or not. And move your right arm a little wider, your right hand a little wider. Everyone bring your right knee to the floor and start to go for the twist. Right hand to the thigh. Or sorry, left hand to the thigh. My bad. Yeah. Pelvis still weighted forward. Maybe go for the full twisted thigh stretch. Holding on to the right foot with your left hand. Aspect of awareness and the practice that you've had for this moment. What is the about yourself? Why? These few breaths that we need to feel better. I want you to take your feet quite wide as your mat at least. Push back, 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 back. And then we're going to gently walk our hands back towards our legs. Let the knees bend. Hold your elbows nice, deep, wide leg forward fold. Please stay in this wide leg forward fold as long as your body needs to get the benefits. Next place that we're all coming, laying down on our backs. You're gonna have your blocks nearby. You're gonna have your strap nearby. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. So you can grab your strap right away. You're going to bring your right leg in, and you can loop your strap around your right foot and straighten the left leg onto the floor. So we're using the strap so that both of your shoulders can stay completely grounded. Okay. Now I know that there are some people that can hold their foot without their shoulders coming away from the floor, and that's cool, right? If you're one of those people and you'd like to not use a strap, by all means, go for it. So we need to make sure that your shoulders are completely grounded. The right leg is completely straight. No, straight-ish. And then go ahead and let the right leg get closer and closer to your body. So you have a moment to let the hamstrings lengthen. And then gently curl your forehead up towards the right knee. And take 3 or 4 breaths here. Your shoulders will likely come away from the floor. But keep your shoulder blades moving down away from your ears. I'm going to change legs, nice and gentle. Left leg up to the sky, right leg flat on the floor, shoulders stable. Lengthening your left hamstrings. And then curl up for 3 to 5 breaths, depending on how long it feels good for you. Shoulder blades down. Come back to the first side. On your inhale, your head's down, shoulders are down. On your exhale, curl and round up. Try this 4 more times. Inhaling down, exhale, curling up. Last 2. Last 1, stay up. Stretch your right arm forward alongside your right leg. Left arm forward along the inside of your right leg. 2 more breaths. Lower down. Change legs. Yeah. Remember the inhale part of your breath pattern. Head, shoulders down. Exhale. Curls forward, knees and toes. Inhale. Head, shoulders. Exhale. Knees and toes. 5 of them. Hold the last one up. Left arm extends. Maybe right now. lowering down, and back to the first side. I'm going to go for the IT. So hold the strap with just your left hand. Bring your right thumb to press into the front of your right hip. Your fingers are wrapped. Your fingers. So your fingers are going to wrap around the right hip. Keep the right leg nice and straight and strong, and just start to guide the right leg over a couple of inches to the left, just a couple of inches. And then commit to pushing your outer right hip down in the direction of your left foot. I'm just going to keep doing these things, slowly taking the right leg across the body more and more while you press with your right hand into the outer right hip tissue to externally rotate that right hip as you go for this twist. And remember, it's not about how far you go. It's not about getting into any kind of magazine cover pose. It's about finding the appropriate stretch for your legs in this moment. Come back to center. Change legs. If you need more time, take more time. It's totally up to you. Hold the strap with your right hand, left thumb into the eye of the left hip, fingers wrapping around the outside edge. Start to cross the left leg to the right and simultaneously press the outer left hip away from you. Come back up, and now one final time, right leg. Left leg's flat on the floor. Just bring the right leg as close to your torso in the direction of your right shoulder. Just bring it as close as you can. This is the last thing we're doing before we rest. It's called Supta Trivikramasana. You take time to do both sides. Let's feeling out the length of the stretch that works for you. And then after you've completed both sides, start to make your way towards your final resting place. You fidget around as you get into your Shavasana space. Adjusting, adjusting, adjusting until you feel great to let everything go. If as you're adjusting, find some other poses you'd like to do, by all means, take your time to do them. Shavasana. Exhale. Stomach relax. bring your awareness back into the sensation of the breath. Following the breath long enough so that you can acknowledge the relaxation in the body. And the evenness left to right. And give yourself permission to remain as long as you like. Safe. Deeply at ease. Let's move, stretch at any time. Please feel free to do so at any choice. Know that you can close your class in Shavasana, receiving guidance. If you find yourself in a seated position, you can bring your hands to your heart. Keeping the breath deep down into the pelvis, the legs. Lift your spine up. Regardless of the focus of our minds, this kind of balance is the promise of our yoga every time. These next few moments, as you breathe, embrace that. This level of sensitivity and awareness. Not only in our hearts, but in every cell of our body. Gentle bow. Close class of channel. Easy breath in and out. Everything's in your sync. Om Shanti. Namaste.